So there's 3 reasons on why you clicked on this video. Either number 1, Coiny is one of your favorite characters, number 2, Coiny is one of your most hated characters, or just because you're bored. Just before we get into the video, I just want to say all this is just my opinion, and it should be taken as fact. You know, like how Coiny's always hogging screen time in both seasons and on both of his teams, always being one of the first ones safe, you know he doesn't deserve it, always being overrated and overhyped, and also how his elimination was totally deserved. You know, stuff like that, just all my opinion, not true at all. You can probably tell on how this video is gonna go, so let's begin, starting at Season 1. Now, I actually kinda like Coiny in Season 1, which is surprising true to the title and thumbnail, but my hate for him didn't really start until Teapot and then BFDIA came back. And even though he was just the fiery slapper in Season 1, time to time was actually kinda enjoyable. Though still, he wasn't one of the best characters, so it makes sense why he was out so early. I think even fans of Coiny don't really care about him in this season. The first 5 episodes of Season 2 were actually really good for Coiny. If he had stayed like this when BFDIA came back, then I wouldn't even be making this video. I'll save the comeback for later, because it definitely needs its own section. One thing to note though, him and Pin were really good this season in the first 5 episodes. IDFB has like nothing for Coiny except for his little gag with fries at the end of the episode. That's all I can really remember from him this season. It makes sense though, since the season was only 1 episode. Alright, moving on to BFB, which is definitely his best season by far. Now in the first 5 episodes, he didn't really do anything at all, but that's for all the losers as well, since losers took up all the screen time on their team. But in BFB 6 is what made most people like him as a character. His interactions with Pin made him and Pin both feel like real friends. It's a shame we never got to see any other scenes like this with him. Another thing I like about BFB Coiny is his involvement in the Fiery and Leafy arc. I like how he talks to Leafy at the end of BFB 15. However, this is where Coiny stopped really being a good character for me. Teapot is when he started his downfall. He was always hogging screen time every single episode from all the other team members. His character especially suffered with Pin. Pin was really annoying from Teapot 2 to 6, and that indirectly affected Coiny as well. Even when Pin got better in Teapot 7, it feels like their friendship was dialed up to 100. Then Teapot 8, he got barely over 30 seconds of screen time, which people say he was done dirty, but it's the complete opposite. He was always hogging screen time in Teapot, and for once he got the least screen time on his team, just for a single episode, and then people say he's being mistreated. And then we get to my favorite Teapot episode ever, the episode where Coiny gets eliminated. People kept saying his elimination was unfair and undeserved, which it definitely was deserved and it definitely was fair. And with him being gone, it made Pin a better character. Wow, it seems like Coiny not being there makes everyone better. I've seen people say that they'll vote for Coiny if a rejoin does happen, which like, no. He's still in BFDIA, which he'll most likely win, and he was recently eliminated. But speaking of BFDIA, let's move on to that. In episodes 6, 7, and 8, he really didn't do anything special, and then he was gone for the entirety of BFDI 9, which you think would make me happy, but no. Even with him being gone, he was constantly brought up during the episode. The first being him and Needle switching voices. Then Bommy making the pose during the challenge, and then Pin mistaking Needle as Coiny throughout the episode. It feels like all of these happened because the writers realized that they can't write Coiny into the episode, so they put him in other ways. Then he did get to return in BFDI 10, which when he got back, he hogged tons of screen time throughout the episode. Yay! But now, BFDI 11 and 12 are the main reasons why I'm making this video. He was the first safe in BFDI 11's elimination, even though he was gone for the entirety of BFDI 9. Then, he kept holding Pin's lifeless body for the entire episode, which was just weird, like why did they do this? But then later he said he'd kill Pin for not helping him? Like, choose a side. And at the end of the episode, he's fighting Freefire for the last key, single-handedly. It just feels like the writers are trying to find ways to make people like Coiny more, even though they don't need to. Like, give Bommy or Nickel more screen time, or Needle, which they do in BFDI 12. Also, yet again, Coiny is the last one on his team, getting the most screen time on his team. Wow, I've never seen that before. Also, they give him this weird thing with Pin for some reason. More ways to like Coiny. Wow, the writers are doing so much for Coiny. Can you give some other characters some screen time, please? This episode just had one of my favorite scenes, which is Coiny getting killed by Needle. But people are actually somewhat hating on Needle now because of this, which is totally undeserved. Did people forget that Coiny made her join the team by threatening her? Also, in the timeline, they've been friends for like 9 months. But no, people ignore all the bad stuff about Coiny because he's the best character ever and totally not flawed. So yeah, that's why I hate Coiny. Just letting you know, this is all my opinion, this is not fact. Well, you know, there's some facts and truths sprinkled in there. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys in another one. Adios.